let's have a real conversation here, pretty much about life situations. And what I want to talk about first is I want to talk about money. Why do I want to talk about money? Well, let's be honest. It's a tool that we need to survive in this world today. It's something that, look, you can't pay your bills. You won't be able to live in a place. You won't be able to pay rent. You won't pay to be able to have a mortgage. You can end up homeless. So let's just be real. You want to eat, you got to have money to eat. So let's just be real. And what I want to tap into is what's the sense of having a lot of money? I mean, so much money to where, you really don't know what to do with it. And you use your money to buy expensive items like a Rolls Royce, expensive jewelry, and things of that nature. And you go back into the community where you're from, if you're from an urban area, and you basically just um, flaunt your wealth in the community where you're from, and nobody in your community is maybe not even over the middle class income threshold. Probably most urban areas, like most around the country, is pretty much poor. So you ride through the streets of those communities with a Rolls Royce. You're wearing expensive watches, expensive gear. You got on $80,000, $90,000 worth of clothing on, not even counting the jewelry. And you walking around, basically flaunting your wealth. And in a sense, you appear to be doing this for praise, for people going up to you, man, you're doing it. You're this, you're that. It's almost like you're in a neighborhood where you're like looked upon as a king and everybody else is poor and you just sitting back looking for praise. Now, I'm not saying that's everybody's mindset. I'm just giving you the um, the appearance of how it can look to a person who don't have much. So you're doing this and you're flaunting wealth, and pretty much you're also putting yourself in a position where you're becoming a victim. You can end up being a victim of robbery, maybe even murder, because you're putting yourself in a position where people look at you and you're like a steak. You're a steak, and you got a bunch of wolves and lions looking at you. So you put yourself in a dangerous position. But instead of doing that, not trying to tell you what to do with your money, and let me make this clear. I'm not saying that a person with a lot of money shouldn't buy things that they like. There's nothing wrong with buying a expensive car if that's what you want and you can afford. There's nothing wrong with buying uh, nice clothing or jewelry. I don't see anything wrong with it because you basically do what you want to do with your money. And there's nothing wrong with buying nice things. Why not? They're made for people to buy. And if you like them, buy it. I'm with that 100%. But why would you want to put yourself in a position like that to be attacked instead of empowering that neighborhood where you're from? Instead of uh, flaunting, creating some type of businesses so where you can employ people, or just grabbing some people and showing people exactly what you did so they can build something for their families, and let it be a trickle down effect where everyone who gets this information passes it along to someone else in that community to really build the community up. Again, this is not a hater speech what I'm giving right now. This is um, a lift me up kind of video. Uh, One hand reach down and grab the other, not the crabs in the barrel type syndrome that's usually planted on the urban communities. So reach down and help someone, give the person that information so they can pass it along, and that person can pass it along, and that person can pass it along. Someone teaches this person how to open up a business. They do it, they can show their kids or their neighbors. And before you know it, you got a trickle down effect of people creating wealth. Now, what I'm saying right now is something that you don't have to agree with. Just my opinion. That's my opinion in life. How I think people with money should help people in their communities where they're from, people who they love, people who they've been around, people who they grew up with, people who taught them things in life. Why not help and build that community up and build it into something huge? Now, I'm not saying that there's people out who's um, acquired wealth are not doing that, but there's so many who are not. There's so many who get wealth. They grab a few people, close friends or whatever, and it's just like a fashion show. It's just like the kings, what I mentioned earlier, just walking around wanting to get praise, and they're throwing out kibbles and bits. You know, you see somebody on the corner, you give them $20, you give them $100, you give them $200, or you go to McDonald's and buy 100 cheeseburgers, and then go to the homeless just giving out cheeseburgers. I'm not saying nothing's wrong with that, but it'd be more helpful if you could take the money and grab somebody and give them some real information so they can create jobs. Instead of giving out cheeseburgers, create jobs. See, the cheeseburger, they're going to eat it. They're going to be filled. They're going to be full for that hour or two or whatever. They're going to go to the bathroom. It's out of the system. Now what? Still in the same position. But when you give them information that can change their life, that's much more valuable. That's much more valuable. I mean, you talking about changing lives. To me, that just makes a whole lot more sense. Now, again, I don't have access to your account. I can't tell you what to do with your money. Entertainers, sports figures, uh, people who have accumulated a lot of wealth. I can't tell you what to do with your money. I'm just saying things that I see that I think that can improve the urban areas. Um, just helping people, period. Now, I see a lot of people, uh, and nothing's wrong with this. Thanksgiving time, they're doing turkey drives. Christmas time, they're doing Christmas gift drives and all that, buying toys for the kids. No, nothing's wrong with that. I want to make it clear, nothing's wrong with that. But what about the rest of the year? What about creating some type of program that can teach the kids about being entrepreneurs? That's way more valuable than them getting a toy that they're going to tear up in 2 months and they're not even playing with it anymore. That's much more valuable. What about creating some type of program where the young teenagers who've gotten lost in the streets, whether it be gang banging, selling drugs, or whatever it is, a program that can actually show them how to become entrepreneurs, how to completely change their lives around? That's much more valuable than handouts. Handouts are cool, but handouts are cool for the moment. Giving them some valuable information to change their life, that's a lifetime gift. That is much more powerful. And I think if this, which along with a lot of more other things, I think something like this, what I'm speaking on, could actually change urban communities, along with other things. There's different other things that also has to happen, but this is something that's key that I think that can definitely change urban communities. Now, all the weight shouldn't fall on entertainers, people who have made a lot of money, where everybody just pointing at them. No, you gotta, all the weight shouldn't just be put on them. There's some things that people in the inner city need to start doing too. You need to start caring about your community. You need to start when you see young people doing wrong or they're going in the wrong direction. It's your responsibility to talk to them. Look, young man, I know you're trying to make money, but there's other ways to make money. Let me show you how to do it. See, this can be done right within the community. See, mindsets have to be changed as well. So when you get a young kid, when you catch them young, not when they're 19, 20, 21, it's too late. You got to catch them when they're young. You got to catch them and give them information early so they can be trained the right way as they're growing, not when you're 21. How you going to change a 21-year-old guy and only way he know how to get money is sell drugs? How you going to change that? It's too hard to do. You got to catch them when they're young. Or you see a young sister out here listening to what's that new record, Pound Town or whatever. She's young, she out here twerking, at a very young age. We need to be able to talk to the kids and look, there's nothing wrong with dancing. There's nothing wrong with having a good time, but there's a way to do these things. And there's certain information that needs to go into our kids. Pound Town, I'm not knocking her. She's making her money or whatever, but Pound Town is kind of destroying a lot of young minds. There's no way a young girl, 5 or 6 years old, singing Pound Town and don't know how to add and subtract. That's backwards. That is backwards. So it's not just about people with money saving our communities. It's also the people that live in the community that need to do a lot of work. What's the sense of you have a job every weekend? You get around the guys and the girls, you get around the girls, and every week it's a drunk fest. It's buying all these bottles, tequila, rum, different vodkas and, champagnes, and going to the club. What are we celebrating? I'm not saying there's something wrong with having a good time, but continuously doing this on a regular basis, it's only one thing you're doing. Well, a couple of things you're doing. You're blowing money and you destroying your health. No, I'm not hating. Have a good time. Celebrate. But celebrate something. I mean, what are we partying for every single weekend? Why? What's the point? What are we doing it for? That's another thing that need when younger kids see this, they think it's the right thing to do. If all you see is certain people in the neighborhood who may have jobs or whatever, they're appearing as living life and having success, and younger people see this, they think it's the right thing to do. What do? They follow the same direction. So they think once you have your gear, you went and bought your gear, maybe buy a couple of pieces of nice jewelry, you can go and buy your bottles, you can pop your bottles and drink. That's success. That's not success. That's pretty much destroying your body and wasting money. That's what that is. I'm sorry. Just a conversation I wanted to have about life and a few things that I think, my personal opinion, not going to be everybody's opinion, but my personal opinion, how things can change in the urban communities by changing mindsets and putting the right information out there and giving the youth direction to go on how to build wealth and how to help families and bring families up, period. You guys have a blessed one.